Hello YouTube, Camodo Gaming here, bringing you guys another episode of Scrap Mechanic. Yes folks, it has been a while since I've done a solo Scrap Mechanic video. It's probably been about a month and a half. And yes, it does feel a little bit weird. Now, unlike my character here, I have not had my finger up my rear end the whole time. I've just been really busy as of recent. So it actually feels pretty good to get up here and actually build something here today. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of questions about some of my previous worlds. I'll try to address that towards the end of the video. But today I just want to kind of get back in the groove. So I've actually built an off-road truck here. Now this is a trophy truck. I've built one of these before and I went back and watched the video and I realized how lazy I was in the beginning when it comes to my trucks. Alright, so first thing you're probably going to notice here is two other vehicles. These are from the workshop. I'll point out the creators here in a second. The reason I spawned these was to kind of get an idea of how other people have been doing their suspensions. I've had a little bit of problems when it comes to suspension and Scrap Mechanic, and one thing I always notice is the amount of lag in suspension pieces and these kind of free-floating, we'll call them like arms under the car. You can see here there's quite a few free bearings under this car here. Actually there's a lot of free bearings under this one. And that's one thing that's kind of bothered me. Now, while these work really, really well, the thing that bothers me is when you're actually racing with friends, if these vehicles get close together, let's go ahead and get an example here, they're gonna lag, and that just kind of makes it no fun when it comes to actually racing. Yeah, you can see it right here. There's just massive frame rate drops. Now, that's not to say the creation is bad. I'm not bashing the creation. I just wanted to make something that I can actually take out and race with my friends. So, we've got my trophy truck over here. We're going to go over that here in a second. Now, I did have a track mapped out here on the new terrain, which, by the way, I'm absolutely amazed by the new terrain pieces. I haven't actually gone over all of them, but yeah, the game ate my map, and I can't open it anymore, so I might have to get somebody like Brent Batch to try to figure out what was going on. I think it's something to do with a piece that I've welded. It's happened twice now, so we're basically going to use the layout that I mapped out. It's just not going to look as great. So anyways, let's go ahead and check out these two trucks here. Now, I would say, I don't know if I want to call these trophy trucks, maybe more or less, maybe a ball haul truck here. It's got the spare tires on the back of it, same with this one. Mine's more of something that you would see maybe in the stadium trucks. I've been playing Dirt 4 recently, so that's kind of where I got the inspiration for this. But anyway, let's go ahead and check this one out here. This one, let's go ahead and pull up the workshop. Excuse me if I'm a little rough when it comes to getting around the menus. It has been a while since I've truly played Scrap Mechanic. Anyways, this is by Edvin. This uses the Derf mod pack. Let's go ahead and hop into this. This one's got a really, really aggressive suspension, and I actually like the back suspension here. So we're going to take off. Let's get away from the other trucks because this thing only likes to be by itself. It lags a whole lot. But yeah, you can see the arms and just how much the suspension like compresses and decompresses. It's pretty impressive. It does dig in quite a bit, so say if we're going to fly around this corner here. It drifts actually pretty good, but it likes to catch, and I've noticed that. And I wanted my vehicle to be able to drift a little bit more without trying to shift directions. But this one's actually, oh wow, that kind of hurt. So yeah, this one's actually really pretty good. I like that it's floaty, and it's kind of a weird word to explain a vehicle, but when this thing gets air, it actually just kind of floats. So take this jump for example here. We're gonna hit it. The suspension pops up. I mean, it got a lot more air than it actually looked like it was going to there with the speed. So it's quite impressive. It's kind of getting stuck on some of these rocks. Yeah, this is the course I had marked out. It's almost like they built this tile just to make a race course around, because this path leads perfectly around to the other side. It's like I'm bunny hopping here. I'm not even sure my front tires actually touched the ground there. That's actually fairly impressive. Yeah, I really like this creation, and I would like to use a suspension kind of complex like this, but once again, it all comes around to the bearings, and I want to be able to do like a, maybe like a land rush style race with my friends. So, while this being very, very awesome, it's just not going to work when it comes to multiplayer. So, we're going to swap over. I've got another vehicle over here that is a little less laggy, and it's got a little bit different suspension that we're going to go over. So let's go ahead and go grab that. Alright, so the next little creation I'm going to check out before we go look at my trophy truck. This one's by Frodo Swaggins. Now that name sounds very familiar. I want to say that we might have checked out something of his on Workshop Hunters. Maybe we were doing some sort of off-road theme, but he's got I would say it's a similar suspension setup to the other truck, the blue and black one over there, except for it's not quite as aggressive. I would say it's a little bit more compact. And yeah, I would say it's definitely not as many bearings, but this is still another vehicle that I tested out a bit just to see how it reacted in multiplayer, and it's another one of those, it does lag a bit. It's not quite as laggy as the other one, so I started to look in this direction as to maybe this is how we can design this to make it where we can race with other people. So this is a pretty good vehicle. It doesn't have quite the give suspension-wise as the other vehicle, the blue and black one, but it is really stable and it's really attached to the ground. Like this one, unlike the other one, doesn't feel floaty. This one feels like it's digging in. Now, the one disadvantage, the one thing I'm not the biggest fan of, is the whole fact that it's an electric motor. And if you played Scrap Mechanic, you know as soon as you let off with electric motors, the vehicle basically comes to a dead stop. So if I were to let off right here, it just stops itself. It just feels a lot more aggressive than the gas engine. But as far as the suspension, this is morely where I started to look as to where I was going to start with my suspension. So I'm going to show you mine. Mine's morely a hybrid between the two, but I would say handling wise it's a little bit closer to this, but I would say it's still got some more of a drift characteristic. This one seems to dig into the ground and it kind of understeers a bit, but still nonetheless it's a very fantastic feeling truck. But let's go ahead and go check out my trophy truck. I'm going to explain that to you guys, and I would like to probably spawn a couple of them and demonstrate just how they interact together. Okay, so I have 3 of my trophy trucks right next to each other, and you already noticed that there is no lag. I can freely walk around these. I can bump these all together. Now, one thing about mine, and it kind of looks a bit goofy, and I can assure you, once you get going, it actually straightens itself out. You notice that the front tires are cambered in pretty bad. And the reason is I've eliminated some of the bearings that I thought were causing lag in some of the other suspensions. So the only thing we're really running off of, we've got 2 bearings at the bottom as far as free bearings, and we've got 2 up here at the top. So let's go ahead and put this on a lift real quick, and I'll kind of explain what I've done here. Now, some of this is going to look connected, but it actually isn't. Some of the free bearings are up here. This middle piece actually doesn't move with the suspension, these 2 middle bars here and here. Let's go ahead and pull this up. You can see there's a free bearing here, there's 1 down by the wheel, and there's 2 up in the top. That's what makes them camber in the way they do, but once you get going, the suspension will actually carry everything up. Now, this actually works really good once you start turning, because you'll see the wheels kind of lean over, and it provides quite good grip while keeping that off-road drifting feel. So we've got that. This is using mod pieces. You can see there's exhaust mods here. I think it's Lord Payne has a really awesome part, and this is something that I used to eliminate some bearings. He's got this slanted pipe piece with all these openings all over it, and that actually helped to where I didn't have to use any controllers. I didn't have to kind of do any tricks with the bearings themselves and the pipe pieces. It's pretty straightforward. So you've got that. On the back here, like most off-road vehicles, the 2 bearings, the free bearings, are mounted here. It's like 2 big arms that go back, and the whole back end bounces up and down. It's not quite as aggressive as the other vehicles. You don't notice it squat down as much. I've got the suspension kind of set stiff, and it's kind of a short one too. So you've got that. You can see the gas tank here in the back. Normally the stadium trucks have sort of a numbering system. They'll have them on the back. A lot of times they'll have them on the side, but I couldn't really find a good spot to stick the number on the side. So you've got that. Pretty detailed. I noticed that they changed the air conditioning block, which it actually kind of looks like one of the fans that are in the back of these. So if you're wondering what that is, let's go ahead and get on a lift here. So you can see that. You can see the bars, the roll cage, how it goes into the cockpit. It's got some lights on the top here. You've got a window net on the side. Now the window net, I would take it out if you're going to race these in multiplayer, because it makes it kind of hard to spot your seat. But if you're right here in the corner, you can hop up and get right in. So let's go ahead and show you guys the interior. It's kind of detailed. It feels real cozy and like a race cockpit. You've got the bars going up the top for the roll cage. You got a shifter down here. Now in these trophy trucks, the motor is mounted on the right side, so you've got that. You've got some batteries, some switches. So overall, this looks somewhat similar to one of my trophy trucks. Oh man, it's probably been at least a year when I built one, except for it's just got a lot more complex suspension. It's just overall a lot more detailed. A long time ago, which I'm still kind of guilty of it, I make the really simple. I'll put one suspension piece, a pipe piece, a bearing to turn, and the wheel. So no more of that. We're going to go a little bit more complicated. So anyways, you can see the front end working here. You can see once it compresses, that's where the tires will kind of camber in. But once you're going, the whole front end will lift itself up. Now this thing actually drifts quite a bit, and it's really, really nimble. So you can see it working here. The only thing that's bad about it, it does bottom out a bit on rocks, so you want to try to clear stuff like that, but it's going to want to try to hook on some of those. I was going to make this a bit taller, but I was looking at a lot of pictures, and these stadium trucks don't sit off the ground quite like you think they would. They're actually pretty low when they're going, so that's the look I went for. Let's go ahead and see if we can hit this. Oh, we're going to completely miss this. Uh-oh. Well, that was embarrassing. Okay. Well, if you ever get stuck in the vehicle, just know you can hit 1. It'll open up the top here and choose your lights. Let's go ahead and I want to try that again. That kind of sucked. So let me cycle around and see if we can get some speed. All right, here we go. I think we're going to clear it this time, and boom. That is awesome. Now, if you don't like the 4-wheel steering, this is going to be on the workshop, by the way. If it's too fidgety for you, you can always hook in a controller and take the bearings off the back and just hook them into controllers, and it'll make them stay forward. It might help a little bit if you can't get used to how touchy this vehicle is, but I do like that you can be very, very precise with this one. I just kind of wish I had my course back. That is disappointing. I had all this kind of marked off. I had barrels up here, and I had a couple more ramps in here, so I might try to work on that again, along with some of the other projects that I have planned here for Scrap Mechanic. But one last thing I want to show you guys, I was talking about it, that's kind of the reason I built the trucks, was the lag part. So let's go ahead, we're going to cycle around here. Got 2 other vehicles spawned in right there. Let's go ahead and just run into them, and I'll show you guys how little lag these things get. So boom. Oh, actually, I'm stuck in. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, if you kind of warp in, I've got some pipes stuck together here. That's one bad thing I don't like about the pipes. You can see they have... How have they done that? Hold on. This is amazing. Check this out. Ooh, this might be an issue in multiplayer as far as if you get your bumpers hooked together, where the pipes have morphed. Yeah, they've morphed into each other. We're now hooked together. We could probably hook these together and make a train. Let's go ahead and pop this over here to the side. There we go. Let's hop back in. Yeah, that's the one thing about the window net. So yeah, I can run these into the side like this. This is probably where the lag would be the worst. Right here in the front, that's where all the free bearings are. And you can see, pretty much for the most part, you can run into each other. You will get a little bit of lag, which you might eliminate the front bumper, because if that bumper goes into the block, kind of like what it's doing there, that might cause a little bit of lag. So definitely I suggest trying this with your friends. You, like I said, might remove the front bumper, because that might cause a little bit of lag if some of the parts warp into each other. If you watched the last Multiplayer Monday we did, it was a push car challenge, and me and Moonbo were on a team. We have to push each other, and you can definitely see where the blocks would lag into each other, and that causes a significant FPS drop. But anyways, this is a pretty cool little vehicle. I kind of wish I still had the track to show you guys. Kind of a small build. Like I said, I have been very busy. Now, I want to go ahead and state that I have not forgotten my previous maps. I still have a prison final coming. I noticed the prison video actually went kind of crazy when I wasn't doing much on YouTube. A lot of people started subbing to the channel because of that video. So I do want to finish that prison very soon. Hopefully we'll have a video on that next week. I kind of wanted to have a little bit more this week, but with how crazy my work schedule has been, it's been pretty tough. Now, I do hope to have one more video at least this week. Probably going to do some more brick rigs. I'm still looking around for a couple of new games, so if you guys have any suggestions, comment below. If you have any suggestions for Scrap Mechanic, let me know. I know somebody's going to ask about the town. I'm not really 100% sure what I'm going to do with that yet, or what I'm going to build and maybe continue. This all kind of depends on the reaction from you guys, so if you have any suggestions, comment below. But anyways, folks, that's going to about do it for this episode of Scrap Mechanic today. If you have anything you want to send to the channel, any viewer creations, I'm going to flash my information up on screen. Still kind of taking those. I have quite a few I need to go back through because it's been so long since I've really paid attention to my email. So we'll have to do that. But anyways, folks, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. If you'd like to like and subscribe, everything helps my channel. And we will see you guys next time in Scrap Mechanic. Thank you.